Hey guys, Wolvie here. This is the Squall rework analysis video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global. I believe this is the 27th of March 2021. Now, for this particular video, it is Squall secondary rework. He has the LD extension board, so that's all that good stuff, but he does get a secondary rework alongside his 8080 Awakenings. So you guys know the drill with the rework analysis series. There are going to be the pros and cons because no unit is perfect, and there are some things, where it can get a little dicey if the character is not used right post-second rework, so that sort of thing. I'll have Tonberry Troop and Dissidia Database website information in the description below, link-wise. So we're going to go into the LD extension board of the character enhancement boards for Squall first, and then we're going to go into the details of the secondary rework. So I'm going to do a pause and I'll meet you guys where his this particular character enhancement board section is. So I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. So before I go any further, there will be one more pause in this video. So that is when I get to the information pertaining to his secondary rework. So for part of the secondary rework, it does include this right here, where you notice I'm using my right hand to do this, so that way I can hold my phone in my left. So so basically, this is what's going on here. This is very much, so I think because this section here now, part of the secondary rework, comes with the LD extension to the character enhancement boards. Basically, what this extension does is basically you do an HP attack of any kind. I mean, this is the exception of certain ones, and then it follows up with the whole that follow-up attack that there was so much hype around when it was on JP. So just a little FYI. So I'm going to pause this video right now. I'm going to go back to the home screen and get to the information pertaining to Squall's secondary rework. So I will be back. Sandy here says hi to everybody. So just want to show off the kitty before I go on. So basically, this is Squall's secondary rework. So right now, if you look at skill 1, Solid Barrel, now, this does have some format of AoE splash style damage for on the HP aspect. So basically, the intended target gets everything. The remaining foes get half. And this comes with additional uses. Now, for Renzo Kuken, skill 2, it's like, this is the information you see here. Now, granted, Renzo Kuken Plus still is 100% AoE total damage to everybody, meaning that 45,000 for all targets if it's like groups are 2 or 3. So 45-1, 45-2, or 45-1, 45-2, 45-3, that sort of thing. So basically, this is pretty much what's going on. So what is the good and what is the bad about Squall's secondary rework? Now, it's a good thing they address certain aspects of the longevity, meaning that he deals out a lot more damage. Granted, you need to have his entire kit in the sense of 15, 35 EX and LD. So you have to have all of that. Now with the burst, yes, it's like, it's like more beneficial for him to have it, because right now he still has no ways to conserve skill uses. So basically, if you compare him to Lightning, it's pretty much those two, they have something one has something the other needs. So basically, for Squall, what he needs is a means to conserve skill uses, or you pop off the LD or EX, you get a skill use for free. That's something that Squall needs, in my personal opinion. Now, I like the fact that where the follow-up, it's granted you have the LD board extension as well as the LDs, they have follow-up. So it's he's one of those where you need to have his entire, gear and sense of the weapon passives. Otherwise, he's practically going to be no good. Or you have to use it in super short fights. So it's one of those things that's like, he kind of becomes a Noctis and others like Noctis in the sense of like, you need to have all the weapon passives. And that kind of hurts Squall in the long run. Now, granted, I really enjoy the fact that he has AoE splash style damage with skill 1, which is really good because, you know, he now has more than one means to deal AoE HP damage outside of skill 2 in certain fashion. Now, with that bit out of the way, if Squall were to get a third rework, I do have to keep it real. He needs something that Lightning has, and that is a free skill use after you use certain things, meaning that if you were to use the EX, which is assault trigger for Squall, he gets a skill use for free. He needs something to conserve skill uses because, honestly, Lightning has that in spades. She's got that whole longevity covered, especially when you set her up right. It's like, yeah. I mean, the best thing, though, again, he has more ways to deal the AoE HP damage. And honestly, you know, that kind of helps in, like, one versus multiple fights. So that's that on that. Let me check the time real quick. Okay, so it looks like I still have some time, you know, a few more minutes before I do have to get going. That is the kitty. He is, well, being Sandy. Sandy the Tabby. And he does have an Instagram. I'm not going to put it in this video, but there he is. Sandy in all his glory. But anyway, the whole thing with Squall, you know, the LD extension, you're going to need that as well as the LD weapon itself in order to, you know, get that follow-up with most HP attacks. So in a, well, I would say not a super quick recap, but a recap all the same is that with Squall, he got a way to help address some of the longevity issues. Meaning more uses, the follow-up with the, provided you have that extension, like, fully done, like I have. But yeah, so basically he's got, like, some of the longevity issues addressed, but not fully addressed, because he's one of those where, regarding the weapon passives, he needs all of them. And he doesn't have that free skill usage, you know, after you do certain attacks, and that's what's hurting him, because what Lightning has is something that Squall needs. And this is a valid comparison because, you know, Lightning, she is a part of the Start Dash, you know, the 2.0. And Lightning has a good amount of means for free skill uses. You set her up right, she will last for days. And that's something that Squall needs, is some means to conserve skill uses, because you could go through the initial 9, and then you use the additional ability to get one of those bad meanings, like 10 for skill 1, 10 for skill 2, and that's including the additional ability use. So it's one of those things. So for the third rework, like I said, he needs to have some skill use conservation means, and if the first weapon plus helps him with that, then that's even better. Because like I said right now, Squall does not have the means to this day on JP, the means to conserve skill uses. And that's something Lightning actually has in spades. Now, because you can dish out all the damage you want, but you gotta be careful with Squall in the sense of, you know, not wanting to burn up so many skill uses, you know, so soon. Because when it comes down to certain difficulty later on, that's going to hurt you. So that's just me. That's just my opinion on all this. So I'm actually going to get going because I got to get ready for work. And let's see here. So you guys get to see that like live. I had to unlock the protocol thing. But all in all, for a super quick recap, like I said before, they did address, in my personal opinion, some of the longevity issues Squall has, but he can't benefit from a free skill usage for longer fights because Lightning clearly has that in spades. Now, he's good right now, but when it comes to Lufenia Plus, I think this is where Squall will fall flat fast. And thing is, in the future, Squall does get the H8 plus to his H8 armor. He does get that plus variant. At the same time, Lightning does. So there's that's for comparison reasons only. So he does get the H8 plus, but he does not have the burst plus yet. So that's down that. And I do hope that, like I said, I do hope that the longevity aspect of Squall when it comes to the issues, I hope it gets addressed further. I do have a couple other videos I've already filmed. I should be posting those tomorrow because I have a bit of a double shift at work on Saturdays. And that's probably going to be, I'm probably going to be forgetful to posting those. So I am actually done with this video. Before I sign off on this particular video, so like I said, Ultimisia, unless I did her already, is going to be the April character spotlight. And I know April's going to be a good chunk of reworks instead of the first rework or the second rework. So there's going to be more coming to this section of the channel in April because there's quite a few reworks and I want to talk about it because there are quite a few coming. Now, the Sarah controversy, I'm probably going to do a separate video on that and give my honest take on it. Because I in a recent month last year, Sarah was a character spotlight person, so I just want to, go into the controversy a little bit further. Because part of, the sort of thing, the criticism the JP side of the game got, oddly enough, I was actually reading Twitter around that time it happened on JP. So I have an idea where I'm going to go. I just need a little bit more time to really think about it. So yeah, there's going to be more videos for the DFFOO section in the channel, for the month of April, like I said, because there's quite a few reworks. I know Emperor's got a rework coming. Celeste has a highly anticipated rework. Y'shtola, she has a secondary rework. So what I may do towards the end of April, when it comes down to the secondary reworks, I may do like the best or the worst, but if it's just Celeste and Y'shtola, instead of their secondary reworks, I'm probably going to just do a separate video, I may or may not do a separate video on those two, but we'll a bit of a wait and see, hopefully things at work, settle down a little bit in time, so, but yeah, there's going to be more reworks because there are more reworks coming. And the whole thing with RNA, I may do something on her, the rerun the character event because it's a full rerun event. And go into my take on one certain aspect that came along from the Guy global debut that's probably going to be showing up on the RNA rerun. So I'm going to do, that's going to be a separate video in itself. So I am actually done with this particular video. So with Wolvie here signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.